Welcome to the Project Management Career Transition Summit 2025. I'm Dr. Tae Woo, CEO and founder of PM Advisory. This summit was created for professionals ready to explore a new path, one where your existing skills can thrive in a project-driven world. There are two major reasons for this summit. One, you probably have many of the project management skills already. Even if your past work isn't in leading projects, you still face deadlines, limited resources, and budget constraints. These skills are highly transferable to project management. Two, with the advancements in technology, and especially generative AI, organizations are flattening by reducing layers of management. This started before the popularity of AI and the latest federal layoffs, but the flattening surely accelerated in 2025. However, machines and AI struggle with nuanced and complex decision-making, and they cannot inspire and motivate people who are essential contributors in most projects. This is why we believe there will be a rise in the role of project managers over the foreseeable future. Let's face the reality. Project management isn't just about tasks. It's about leading change, solving problems, and delivering meaningful results. And as work evolves, the demand for capable project leaders continues to grow. Today, you'll hear from leading experts and gain practical insights to help you make a confident career pivot. Whether you're just exploring or ready to take the leap, this is your launchpad. Let's get started.
Excellent. So now let me start and talk about why I think this summit is so essential. Personally, as I mentioned, I became a project manager purely by accident. And a lot of my students I teach in university knows that I started becoming a project manager because I accidentally got my manager fired when I was very junior and didn't know how to play the politics. I went to a meeting. My project manager wasn't there. People asked me how things were going. I tell them how things were going. Clearly, my project manager were telling them something else. And the client ultimately liked my story, which they trust, better than my project manager. And that's how I became a project manager. I always joke by getting your project manager fired. This is not something I wish upon everybody, of course. But having said that, I found the career to be fascinating. Partly because it's just there's a lot of actions. There's never really dull moments. But also, I found so much of my skills that I already had were quite usable. Now, I still have to build my technical skill. This is not to say I had all the skills, but much of the skills were transferable. And throughout my career, I have led major PMOs, major projects, led groups of business analysts over time, and later became a professor. I highly advocate for those who like action, who has a bias for moving things, doing things, working hands-on. Consider project management somewhere in your career, because there's almost no other career that could give you the ability to touch so many points of your organization. In fact, project managers are sometimes called the boundary spanners because we exist on the boundaries of multiple departments, multiple business units, sometimes multiple companies trying to pull industry-wide projects. So I am very fortunate to have much of those experience. But looking at today, the transition to PM are accelerated for at least two primary reasons immediately in front of us. One is I'm sure everybody recognizes AI is reshaping the workforce. Actually, in fact, the evolution of digitization, even starting in the 80s, has wreaked havoc on the traditional organization structure. In the 90s, we call it downsizing. We became a little bit more positive and called it right sizing toward the end of the 90s and 2000s. But all that leads to is the great flattening of the organization. So if you think organizations from the 70s and 80s, they may have 30, 40 layers. Today, most are much, much flatter. In fact, some maybe only have 3 or 4 levels, meaning you're only 3 or 4 levels away from the CEO. But that doesn't change the nature of work, doesn't change that projects still have to get done through people. And you still need people leading people, motivating people, nurturing people to get the work done. And this is why I think that gives a momentous push toward more project manager. In fact, Business Insider about 10 days ago published an article which is actually based on Department of Labor statistics and put project management specialists as one of the top 20 high growth, high income potential career for people. So for those of you subscribe to my PM blog, and you could see a little bit of that. So that's a great reason. And the second reason, of course, is a little bit more practical. I think the economy is not doing well. The latest job report everybody's seeing, and the turnout even last year, more than half the job growth. So not to mention even the recent quarter. And so for people looking for job, I think this is a true opportunity. So we have over, I think, 160 people registered for today's summit, which actually makes us one of our bigger summits because we tend to be quite specialized. I'm quite happy with just 100 people. So we're excited to have so many people. And throughout today, you'll hear from the speakers and presenters, but just as importantly, later we have Q&A. So here's a couple more housekeeping items that I'll just cover before we start the presentation. For those of you who haven't seen our program guide, we put together a fabulous program guide. And by the way, we have a lot of support. We have our speakers, our advisory board. And so please download this. You could save it. You also have the information, the reporting the PDUs. For those of you who have PMPs or other PMI certification, this does earn you professional development units. So I already talked a little bit about the summit, and the big part that you should take away is really just relax and listen, because we are recording the whole thing. You will have it, but ready to engage and ask questions. Please use the Q&A and we'll respond to as quickly as possible for anything that's sort of formal questions. But if you have reactions, feel free to use the chat box as well. Just note that the speaker probably won't be looking at the chat box, mainly because, of course, they're focusing on their presentation piece. And then again, we'll have a Q&A at the end. For the expert Q&A, we only able to probably cover, we allocated 30 minutes, and there's only so much you could say in 30 minutes. So it'll be relatively brief. We did receive 10 very good questions. Our hope is we're able to cover 6 of them, but we will be posting all the answers. And right now, just so you know, in my background, I'm still working on it, by the way. True to be a PM, I'm almost working last minute, right? I assembled the first complete Q&A only this morning at 9 o'clock. So I'm still working on part of it. It's whole 23 pages of Word doc. So we'll post a lot of these Q&A to our LinkedIn group around project management, career, and development. And it's a free group. Everybody could join. A lot of my students, for example, are in that group. And then, of course, with any Zoom technology, any virtual technology, I shouldn't say just Zoom, we may confront issues. So in general, if the issue is on your side, unfortunately, of course, that's something you have to tackle with the Zoom support. But if something on our side, and for whatever reason, everything gets shut down, please try come back with the link that you already have in 10 minutes, and hopefully we work things through. And in case we really didn't, then of course we'll have to reschedule part of it. Actually, earlier this week, I was at a Dan Brown book speak, The Secret of Secrets. He just released his new book, and this is organized by Barnes and Noble. And for the first 7 minutes, they didn't have audio. And you could see the chat went live, like no sound, no sound. So I put a comment, I'm glad I'm not the only person who seemed to have that problem on occasion. So not that we hope that they're in technology issues, but if it does come up, please give us a little bit breathing room, dial back in about 10 minutes. And if it really didn't work, then we'll just reschedule. Again, I want to express my appreciation, really, 1, for the speakers, 2, for the advisory board members. And for those of you who'd like to join our advisory board member, please consider joining. It's a vibrant community. We talk about different topics, different ideas. There are ideas even for different topics that we may want to consider for 2026 future summits or even webinars. Our advisory board members usually are also contributors to the speaking part. And then, of course, I want to thank my team at PMO Advisory. Okay, with that said, okay, We will get. Okay,
With
good.
that, with that said, we'll be playing another video as our invitation for an upcoming course for launching a successful career in project management.
Hi, I'm Anthony Pavlich with the PMO Advisory. Are you looking to and ready to step into one of the fastest growing and most dynamic careers today? With over 1.7 million certified project professionals worldwide and tens of thousands of new roles opening up each year, project management isn't just a job, it's a launchpad for leadership. We're excited to introduce a powerful live virtual workshop designed to unlock your career potential, launching a successful career in project management. So whether you're just starting out, thinking about a career switch, already managing projects and aiming higher, this course is definitely for you. You'll gain insider knowledge of the project manager world, from real world challenges and success stories to practical skills and tools. You'll also explore the career pathways from project management to portfolio leadership and discover how PMI certifications, including some of the newest ones, can help fast track your growth. So in just 3.5 to 4 hours, you'll walk away with clarity, confidence, and the ability to customize a roadmap to turn your ambition into action. So there's no prerequisites, there's no fluff, just high impact results led by experts. So if you're ready to lead, to solve real problems, make a measurable impact, project management is calling you. Seats are limited, so join us live and take the first step towards your career. A career that's anything but ordinary. So enroll today and launch your future. We look forward to seeing you.
Excellent. So we are planning this little course. We actually we had this course before. We offered it throughout the last couple of years, but we're also putting together, and we actually made it extraordinarily accessible and frankly low cost for people at this summit. So later you'll get more information about that.